is Friday night. Feeling the wake of some very poignant and meaningful conversations between family and friends today. New and old and all the ilk and ike alike. This WYRD radio free, weird, wild hair wearing, very sharp teeth. Yas. It's a strange thing, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? At one point today I said to Mr. Q, I know that there's a sheep on my shirt. And I know there's a wolf underneath. I choose to do with the information moving forward. I've been a delicious reciprocity. This weird, wild lake effect, CTA, rapid transit of growth I've been experiencing. So with that, and also, it's a stupid movie, Dexter. Right? Get out of my laboratory, Dee Dee. Hold the light. Hold the light. Okay. Came out to watch you play. Why are you running away? Yeah, deep thoughts with Jack Prog. You remember Jack Prog, don't you? Stupid movie. Big hat. It's a funny hat. But I ain't mad at you. From every angle, from all them who's its, what's its, woozles, gadgets, and folies. He floats. And he stays. Nobody knows. The weird wild crusade. I will die on this hill. I promised. I said it, brain. I will die on this hill. Lord loves a working man. Because a real jerk. There's something wrong with that opti-grab. Is it wrong? Or do we just not know what it is? Just so you've done used to being swindled and swined right off a cliff. Anyway, anywho. Was a me-hoo and an exactly what? Methamphetamine. I said, don't jump, but he did. So I asked myself a question. And I'm gonna take a look. It's in a book. I'm gonna see what they have to say. Who are they? What is the question? Why do that? And a follow-up. How did I get here? But first, speaking of Swede herders, Swede herders. So it seemed entirely logical, I thought, going back to Washington in the midst of this stinking Watergate summer to call Buchanan and see if he felt like having 13 or 14 drinks on some afternoon when he wasn't at the White House working feverishly in what he calls the bunker. Price and Buchanan write him almost everything Nixon says, and they are busier than usual these days, primarily figuring out what not to say. I spent most of one Saturday afternoon with Pat lounging around a tin umbrella table beside the Watergate pool and talking lazily about politics in general. When I called him at the White House the day before, the first thing he said was, "Yeah, I just finished your book." Oh, holy crow. How many more holy crows we got before we hit the jackpot? 1/1/22, closer to the reveal from the Book of Light. Yours truly. 9 weeks to the suppositional crisis, quote unquote, and get behind that mule, do you? While the unprintable fool stands on his head for him, blinding our minds with his visionary instrument. He feigns this bumble. The branches extend and the roots run deep as he bends his limbs. The jackass standoff strains your mental energy. Yes, yes, it is so. She takes his hand. His next trick propels her to mouthpiece, scepter, and crown as heavy as her Go Hills boots dug up from Time's fortress. The deflecting psychologist and the jester's wit, and the palm of the native sailor, can disrupt the extinguishing field. It's a cheese wrapper. C'est fromage. I blame Joachim Buonarroti. His jackassery. Quel dommage. What the law say? Here we go, it's a sauce. I said I call myself a mule, but not because of my strength, obviously. Arrogance. Arrogance. How far does it really get us? Oh, bing bong. They said Jeremy is the name of 9 planets in our solar system. I call them all Jeremy because they think and speak as one. Mr. Wendell, yeah. The interests of local communities and economies are relentlessly subordinated to the interests of business. Then 2 further catastrophes inevitably result. First, the people are increasingly estranged from the native wealth, health, knowledge, and pleasure of their country. And second, the country itself is destroyed. It is not possible to look at the present condition of our land and people and find support for optimism. We must not fool ourselves. It is altogether conceivable that we may go right along with this business of business, with our curious religious faith in technological progress, with our glorification of our own greed and violence, always rationalized by our indignation at the greed and violence of others, until our land, our world, and ourselves are utterly destroyed. We know from history that massive human failure is possible. It is foolish to assume that we will save ourselves from any fate that we have made possible simply because we have the conceit to call ourselves Homo sapiens. On the other hand, we want to be hopeful, and hope is one of our duties. A part of our obligation to our own being, to our descendants, is to study our life and our condition, searching always for the authentic underpinnings of hope. And if we look, these underpinnings can still be found. Never ceases to make me grin like an idiot. Like an idiot. Like an idiot. The smallest and noisiest contingents among the 200 invited guests was a handful of big-time journalists who spent most of the last autumn dogging McGovern's every lame footstep along the campaign trail, while 2 third-string police reporters from the Washington Post were quietly putting together the biggest political story of 1972 or any other year, a story that had already exploded by the time of McGovern's quote-unquote anniversary party into a scandal that has even now burned a big hole for itself in every American history textbook written from 1973 till infinity. That's a weird note to end on, Sharky.